Hello and welcome to Elevate Studios. In today's video, we'll be unpacking the process of going back to school amidst the current pandemic.
Back to school can be an abrupt transition from sleeping till noon, hitting snooze, and having absolutely nothing to do.
With the onset of school, whether that's in a virtual format or a physical one, your routine might be liable to some pretty big changes.
So here's a few honest tips from students who are in the same boat as you to get you in gear for the upcoming school year.
A great way to get started with your back to school season is by just setting some preliminary goals. What I like to do when I start a new school year is to divide my goals on personal goals that I have for myself and things that I want to change about my personality or the things that I'm involved in, versus academic goals, which are things that you want to improve with your school life. Maybe this is your grades, maybe this is how you approach stress, maybe this is how much you retain after each unit test. Consider all the things that are realistic to you, because you don't want to set a goal just because you think that someone else is going to have the same goal, or that you think that it's going to be a goal that will help you be more like somebody else. Make sure that the goals that you set are personal to you and also realistic to the situation that you're in. For example, if you're a student that makes high B's to mid A's, then maybe you want to try and push to get more consistently mid A's. That's a realistic goal, but if you're a student that gets low B's to mid B's, maybe getting mid A's would be a little bit unrealistic for you. So just make sure that the goals that you're pursuing are worth your time and realistic. And like I said before, make sure that you're being aware of what you're capable right now to make sure that your goals are realistic, especially given the context of this environment right now. You may not be able to accomplish the same things as you were once before. Maybe making super high grades isn't realistic for you because you're not a super good online learner. We'll have other videos referencing how to be a good online learner to help you try and improve those skills. But understand that if that's just not the way that you learn, you need to cut yourself some slack when you're approaching the goals that you want to pursue this year.
Even though a lot of us might not be going back to school in a physical format for the first part of the 2020 to 2021 school year, it's still really important to maintain a consistent sleep schedule throughout the year. For teens, we should typically be sleeping from 6 to 8 hours a night. And I know 8 hours a night seems a little unrealistic, especially if you're super busy with extracurriculars, college applications, or super hard classes. But you should still shoot for at least 6 hours every night. It's still really important to try to get enough sleep every night. If you're like me, from back in June when I would sleep at 4 or 5 in the morning and wake up at 3 or 2 p.m. in the afternoon, you might be wondering how you can fix your sleep schedule. I decided that I was going to pull an all-nighter and reset my sleep schedule. And that's what happened. If that doesn't work for you, you should also avoid caffeine a few hours before you go to sleep, and also avoid large meals. And don't use your phone or laptop 30 minutes or so before you decide that you want to go to sleep. Instead of using technology, opt for something not digital instead. Maybe read a book, or listen to music or podcast, or any other activity that you enjoy doing. Also, especially since so many of us will be at our computers for the better part of the days during digital learning days, we won't be burning as many calories as we would if we went to school. So we're probably not going to be as tired once we finish the school day, even though we might be a little bit groggy from being on our laptops. Find something that can keep you active during the day so that you do burn enough calories to where you are tired when it's time to go to sleep at night. However, if you're like me and the problem isn't necessarily falling asleep but waking up in the morning, I completely understand. So for me, I stopped using the default alarm just because I'd gotten so used to it from using it for a couple years. Alternate between different alarms instead of using the same alarm every single day for months. Choose a different annoying alarm instead so that your brain doesn't get too used to one alarm.
Additionally, create structure within the chaos that is back to school. Your routine is going to change drastically. Now you're sleeping in, you're not changing out of your clothes, and in my case, you're maybe not even eating breakfast until 10:30 or 11 a.m. So you need to make sure that you can add some structure to your life even though you're not actually going to a physical school building. Create yourself a class schedule. Even though school may not be using bells and you may not be experiencing the always enjoyable rush of people through hallways, you still are going to be taking classes this year if you are a student. So make sure that you're creating a class schedule for yourself. Maybe you can do this through Google Calendar. Maybe you can use a reminder app to give you notifications each time that one of your classes starts. I know a lot of schools are doing a synchronous/asynchronous type of system for classes this year, so certain classes will be live during certain periods and certain classes will just be completely digital, where you're accessing assignments through whatever platform that your school uses and you're not actually having a live interaction with the teacher. Regardless, make sure that you're creating a structured time to approach each class so that your schoolwork doesn't bleed into each other, because it can get really stressful if you don't give yourself enough time to, for example, do your AP US History project when you're still worrying about your language arts essay. If you give yourself committed time blocks to work on each class, you'll be less worried about completing the other assignments because you know you have a given amount of time. Another way to add some structure into your life when you aren't going to a physical school building is just to list out all of your commitments throughout the day. A lot of you might be part of different extracurriculars or sports on top of the academic classes that you have to take. Maybe you have a summer job, even during this pandemic. Maybe you have commitments with your siblings or within your neighborhood. But regardless of what it is, make sure that you're accounting for every single event or activity that your time goes to during a day. So start from the moment you wake up to the moment that you go to sleep and list out all of the commitments that you have. From school to extracurriculars, make sure that everything is accounted for, because this will help you structure your day and help you commit to your time in a more efficient way. If you're able to see everything down at once, you'll be able to shape out what takes the most time, what takes the least time, what can I fit in when, and it'll help you create a more routine daily schedule so that you're able to go about your day just like you did before coronavirus created this whole self-quarantine situation, and hopefully be more successful. Another way to help you replicate a more realistic school environment this year is to do what a lot of people suggest, is to take your syllabus and break it down. So your syllabus actually has a lot of information about the course and what you'll be approaching throughout the year. To me, the most important thing on a syllabus is the test dates. A lot of teachers will have specific test dates assigned for each of the different units before the class even begins. Make sure that you're marking these on your calendar and that you're setting reminders a week in advance for each of these tests so that it's on your mind and you're more likely to start studying. The other thing that's on your syllabus that's super important is your grade breakdown. So what I mean by grade breakdown is what percentage of value is assigned to each type of assessment that your teacher will give. So in some classes, 20% of your grade comes from your final exam, or 30% of your grade comes from the lab work that you do. So it's important to understand what different types of activities are going to get the most bang for the buck. That way you can prioritize the work that you do and the effort that you give to the things that are going to raise your grade more. Another great thing that a syllabus is useful for is basically giving you a table of content for the course to come. It shows you all of the different units that you're going to be approaching, so make sure that you take a look at those units and kind of star what you feel like you might be a little bit challenged by, or place a check mark next to what you think that you would be really successful at. That way you can kind of get an idea of what units that you're going to need to focus on more for final exams or AP tests if you are taking advanced placement classes. This way, you can get an idea and a handle for the work that you'll have to do during different months of the year before you start. That way you can readjust your class schedule and your different other commitments according to your academic success. Another huge piece of advice that I have for you guys to create some structure and to really help motivate you throughout the year and make sure that you're not burning out while learning digitally is to create a system for rewards. Make sure that you're rewarding yourself for each thing that you accomplish. So maybe once you complete a unit in class and take that big test, you can reward yourself with half of a day or a full day or a weekend of just doing nothing school related and just turning off your devices, getting away from all of that digital clutter, and just helping yourself relax and get prepared for the next week. Additionally, when you're using the Pomodoro method that I mentioned before, use your 15-minute breaks as rewards. This brings up another important topic. Make sure that your rewards are healthy. When I take a break using the Pomodoro method, I don't use all 15 of those minutes to scroll through Instagram or scroll through Twitter. I use it to hydrate, to fill up my water, to water my plants, to do things that are healthy and unplugged. I think that's the best advice that I can give. When you're not required to for school, try and get off of your technology, because with digital learning, you're on your laptop and you're on your phone for several hours a day. So it can become really unhealthy if you don't take breaks and you don't get outside, you don't talk to your family, you don't drink water, all of those good things that you need to do to keep yourself alive.
Since a lot of schools are switching to digital learning in the fall, it might be tempting to just simply rely on your phone, tablet, or laptop, but you really do need to have your physical school supplies even if you are at home, whether that's pens, pencils, paper, notebooks, or a binder. It's important to keep everything organized so that you're not stressed out when you're at home. Instead of simply buying boring black pens, maybe you buy fun multicolored ones instead. For me, I love taking my psychology notes just because I had so many pens that I had bought earlier in the school year and from the past couple of years of high school that I just loved writing with. But trust me, just being able to connect with your school supplies is going to be kind of important. Maybe you're not a big fan of pens, but you like to customize your things. So maybe you customize your notebook. Just find some way to make your school supplies meaningful to you, because you'll be more excited to use them.
This school year, it is more important than ever to make sure that you have a solid support system. It'll be really difficult for you if you aren't able to reach out to friends or reach out to people in your classes, reach out to your teachers. Make sure that you have a strong academic support and a strong personal support. Make sure that you're keeping up with both aspects of your life and you're not leaving one to the wayside. I know that a lot of the times I'm susceptible to getting so caught up in academics and grades and raising them that I completely forget to take care of myself and do the things that will make me happy throughout the year. Understand that even though school's starting, that doesn't mean that your life is stopping. So make sure that you continue to take care of yourself. Also, don't hesitate to be that support system for someone else. A lot of people might not have the courage or the will or even the energy to reach out to one another after a long day of school. So make sure that you're the one who takes the initiative to reach out to your friend group and check up on people, because quarantine can be a really difficult and isolating time for a lot of us. So make sure to check up on your parents, check up on your relatives, check up on your classmates and see how they're doing and how you could be able to help them. Because the only way that we're going to get through this is together. So make sure that you're being a good citizen, especially within your school and within your academic life, so that you can help yourself and your peers succeed.
And finally, be kind to your mind. Digital learning is hard. You have to teach a lot of the material to yourself, and it can be a little bit overwhelming and seem daunting at first. If you find yourself struggling with material, don't hesitate to reach out to any of your friends, any upperclassmen, a tutor that you know, or primarily your teacher. Your teacher is there to help you, and they'll be able to explain the content to you the best. I know it can seem scary at first to ask a teacher a question, especially when I was a freshman. I was really nervous to ask a teacher a question that I had about the material because, I don't know, I was just scared to say that I didn't know something. but the teachers are there to support you, especially during this really tough time.
We hope this video helps you get back into the learning mindset as the academic year kicks off.
We know it can be difficult to make the transition, but if you actively try to implement these tips into your daily life, it will be a much easier process.
Feel free to leave a comment with your questions, concerns, or thoughts about going back to school. If you enjoyed this video, like and share.
Please be sure to subscribe to our channel down below if you'd like to see more videos from us. Turn on post notifications so that you're notified every single time we post a video. Thank you so much. Bye!